This exam is more about perseverance and patience. There will come a time where you can lose patience in this exam because it's a long journey. Sir, I think prelims and mains preparation should be done together.
But I believe that every person is unique. Welcome to Civil Services 2021 Toppers Talk. I am B. Singh, founder and director, NEXT IAS, and with me in today's talk is Mr. Kushal Jain. Kushal, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Kushal has secured All India rank 40 in 2021 Civil Services. He comes from Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. He did his BTech in Information Science and Engineering from Rashtriya Vidyalaya College of Engineering, Bangalore. He opted for Sociology as the optional subject and secured rank 40. Civil services is dream for many. If you want to realize this dream, what to study, how to study, what should be strategy, what should be source of study, let us try to understand from Kushal Jain. So Kushal, मेरा सवाल ये है कि जब आपने सिविल सर्विसेज के बारे में सोचा, you decided for it. So what was your conceiving point, means when you decided to go, during the college or after working and then you decided?
So, during work time, I used to work for Microsoft.
Okay.
And when I was working there, I realized that for a greater ground level impact, I can also take civil services as my profession. So, taking that thought forward, I decided to pursue these services.
So how tough is this exam actually? Many young minds, they think about it, but they don't dare to go for it. So how tough is this exam and how much efforts would be required to crack this exam?
Sir, I think more than toughness, this exam is more about perseverance and patience. There will come a time where you can lose patience in this exam because it's a long journey.
Right.
So I think if somebody is determined for the larger cause that they are getting, if they get a rank, I think that should be the driving force. And if somebody is determined, I think this exam is easily crackable, sir.
If a fresher, like a student who is in college third year or final year, how should he or she begin the journey? Would prefer the NCRTs or some textbooks? What will be your advice?
So I think the first thing, they should go through the syllabus of NCRT itself in different subjects. But I think after completing their NCRTs, they can also refer the standard textbooks that are available for UPSC preparation. Along with this, in the initial phase, I think they should also read newspapers as a hobby.
Okay.
This will make them aware of the things that are going around, that questions that can be expected. And if they're also covering the static portion, slowly and gradually, they'll be able to cover the syllabus in required time.
Okay. About there are three stages: pre, mains, and interview. About which phase or which stage you would like to discuss in detail?
Sir, I think most of the viewers would want to know about the prelims first.
Right.
So I think I would dwell a little upon that.
Right. So let us start with the prelims. So two papers and GS, and this year we have seen cutoff was even lesser than the last year cutoff. It was 87.5 this year and as compared to 92.5 last year.
Yes.
How a student should prepare for the prelims?
Sir, I think prelims and mains preparation should be done together.
Okay.
For that, the syllabus that is provided, it should be divided into many parts. For example, there are 6 to 7 subjects. The syllabus can be divided into that. And further, there needs to be a weekly timetable for the student. And they have to follow that timetable religiously. I think if they are following the weekly timetable and they are solving that sectional test after that week itself and not pending it for later stages, I feel they will be well within time to complete their syllabus holistically for prelims as well as mains.
So what should be the ideal schedule of daily study during 24 hours? Approximately how many hours should one devote for the study?
So I think rather than quantity, a person should go for quality hours in studies. So I think if they have decided upon a very calculative syllabus, if I can say that, if they've divided their syllabus into the time that they have, some people can have 2 months, some people can have 2 years in this examination. I think if they've divided it accordingly and if they're doing it religiously every week, every month, and they are completing their syllabus on time, I think it should be achievable, sir.
Many students face the problem that they lose what they have studied and they are not able to retain it for a longer time. Is there any technique which can help them to retain for a longer time?
So I think the first is you have to understand the concept, not just mug it up. The second is consistent revision is required. And the third thing is when you apply your concepts in the test papers, I feel once you make a mistake and then you relearn that concept, it stays with you. So I think during that practice also you can relearn new concepts.
So there are many sources of study, especially now in the era of internet. There are too many portals and too many options available. How to restrict the sources of study and which sources a student should focus? Self-written notes, textbooks, online portals, YouTube videos. What? What is your opinion?
Sir, I think a mix of all of these should happen.
Okay.
The first thing is a person should follow a good static reference, and that is available in the market as well as it is available online as well. If there is some concept that a person is not able to grasp properly, then there are YouTube videos which will explain only that concept. I think they can go for that as well. But they should restrict their online activities just focusing UPSC in mind and not the other distracting things.
How this UPSC study is different from the other exams, like if you semester exams or any post-graduation exams?
So I think the first thing is the diversity of areas that we have to cover in UPSC. A person can be good in one topic, but then there are so many other topics that will decide their marks and their eventual rank. So I think there needs to be a very holistic and a broad study approach towards UPSC. The second thing is regarding the subjects that are there. So for example, one can be studying maths as an optional or sociology as an optional.
Right.
So those require completely different skills. So it also requires a person to understand where their skill lies, and then they should go for selection of subjects so as to maximize their marks.
Students are more worried about the answer writing because many students have written this to us also, that how to improve answer writing. They are not able to perform in the exam. So what methods you followed to improve your answer writing and what you suggest for the aspirants?
Sir, I think for answer writing, there is a two-stage approach, I feel. The first is you have to divide your main syllabus into 20 bullet points. So if you'll see, GS1 is given in 20 points, the syllabus. Same goes with GS2 and GS3. After that, you have to have a good amount of notes, not more than 4 to 5 pages for each point in that. That you can make from the static sources as well as you can keep adding on to it from the current affairs. Once that part is done and once you feel your static portion is covered, I think you can take any coaching's test series of mains answer writing, and section wise you can brainstorm those answers first. You have to look at the question, you have to think what you would have written in this in all the broad dimensions that the question is demanding, and then you have to match it from the best answer that is available. In this thing you will also realize what best can be written in 2 pages, because more often than not we tend to stretch the initial part and then we have to compress the later parts of the question. So I think if this practice is done, then you can go for the full length answer writing, and I think if that is done, I feel it rewards.
In mains, all the questions are compulsory and you have the limited space either in 150 words or maybe in 250 words. How to limit the answer and what we mean by a good answer? What exactly the content would be for a good answer?
Sir, I think
any general points which may help to these aspirants who are just interested or maybe writing next year?
So I think the first part in this comes when you look at the question. A question can be demanding something, but you might miss it. And then you might think that you have written a great answer, but that answer will not be meeting the requirements of the question. So I think the practice of first understanding what the question is demanding is very important. The second point is breaking of the question. I think a question has some explicit demands and some implicit demands. So for example, if there is a question which deals with some challenges that is there in India, it can be in any field.
Right.
So there is an explicit demand of writing the challenges, but there's also an implicit demand of writing the solution and way forward in it, which aspirants often miss that. So I think this comes from practice. Once you have written an answer, once you have gotten it evaluated from somebody that you think is good in this field, I think then your understanding will develop, and then the distance between your answer and a very good answer will keep reducing every day. But that will only come via practice.
For the sake of information to the audience, would you like to share your marks of prelims and mains and finally IGP interview?
So prelims haven't yet been disclosed.
All right.
Mains I have scored 809, and in interview I have scored 193 marks.
So in your optional was sociology. What
Yes,
was your score in sociology?
Sir, I scored 268 marks in sociology.
Right. So sociology is one of the very popular subjects, and many aspirants. In fact, I have seen so many aspirants with the sociology, and they have qualified, and now they are in finalist. What is your suggestion about the optional? How to choose a good optional, and whether the sociology is good?
Sir, I think every optional is rewarding after one point. But the thing is, when you're selecting an optional, I think there needs to be an extensive research that should go in that.
Right.
This research would first include reading the syllabus of that optional that UPSC provides. The second part of this would be understanding what the questions that come in that optional in the UPSC previous year question papers, what are they demanding? If you can develop a thought around that question. The third part would come as, do you have material available for that optional? The fourth part is obviously the guidance that is there. And the fifth part is also the overlap between that optional and other GS subjects. I think if you select based on this priority, you'll eventually end up in a good optional according to yourself.
People normally they follow the topper's approach. Last year, topper had certain optional, and they try to follow that. But I believe that every person is unique, and your uniqueness is in you. So you have to decide according to your interest area and your strength area. So this is rightly said. Every optional is good, and in any optional one can perform. It all depends how you have studied and prepared.
Yes.
My next question is that many aspirants, when they prepare during the phase of their study, they feel low, depressed, or sometimes they lose their confidence or they lose their motivation. Under such situations, how to overcome with these situations, and what can be done to improvise your confidence level during that period? I'm sure you also might have passed through lows and highs in your preparation phase.
Yes, sir, it happens. And particularly with me, it happened because I have continuously reached interview in all my attempts, but I was not making it to the final list. So this happened. And last time after interview, there was only 10 days for prelims. So the only thing that you have to understand and realize is that any topper that you look up to right now has gone through that phase. Every topper, if you see on an average, apart from some exceptions, have gone through that struggle phase. And this is the only path to reach your ultimate goal. So if in case you have your eye for the ultimate prize, I think these temporary mismatches won't matter. But it is also important to surround yourself with positive people, people who motivate you. A good mentor is also very helpful. I think if you surround yourself with such people who continuously motivate you and help you analyze your mistakes, where you're going wrong and where you can improve.
So good friends, parents,
Yes,
and teachers.
Yes, sir.
Right. So dear friends, if you face any such problem when you feel low, I think your parents are the one who can help you out. Your good friends, as Kushal says, the friend circle is very important. Now, Kushal, coming to the final last question, how was your experience of Next IAS, and during the last phase of preparation, how you mentored yourself?
Sir, I think Next IAS helped me understand where I was lacking, especially in the interview program which I attended. I think in that sense, I was told about particular gestures, particular points that I need to prioritize first in formulating my answers. I think it eventually helped me in the final day, sir.
That's great. So, dear friends, you are watching to the Kushal Jain. He has secured All India rank 40. He is an engineer by his profession, and now he is civil servant. And I wish this discussion will help you to plan your strategy. And if you look forward any support to Next IAS, you can log on to our website. Thank you very much, Kushal. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.